Hey, welcome everybody. It's been a long ass time, but we're back. Views from the top rope.
Woo!
Coming at you after one hell of a weekend. We got some new faces join the group. Everybody say hi to OT Brims and Mexa Fitteds. I know them. And you know, our good old standby Benjamin is here as well.
Bang, bang.
Yeah, we'll get started here in a couple minutes. Let some people join and let's talk some wrestling. Ooh. Yeah, sorry guys. My schedule got the better of me, so now things calm down outside of baseball season. So we'll be back a little more regular.
We're gonna have to with all the stuff that's going on.
Yeah. It's a good time to be a wrestling fan. That's for sure. Where's Leon? Leon is an MMA and boxing fan. He's not necessarily a professional wrestling fan or sports entertainment fan. So we'll fill in.
Shout out to all the sports entertainers out there.
All the sports entertainers. What's up, Ariel? How's it going? Nice to see you again, man. But you guys ready to get started?
Absolutely.
Yep. All right, let's pull this down. And again, welcome everybody. Views from the top rope. This is Jason, aka Hat Crawler. We got OT Brims. We got Jose, aka Mexa Fitteds, and Ben, aka Shaka Brody. We're here to talk some WWE, some AEW, maybe some New Japan Pro Wrestling if Ben's down. That's stuff I can't get. Yeah, we're back. We're gonna try and do this on a little more regular schedule from now on. Yeah, how's everybody doing?
Fantastic. Got to hang out with you on Sunday. Go to All Out live.
Yep, that was a blast for the second year in a row. starting to become a tradition.
Absolutely.
Me and Ben were at All Out in beautiful downtown Hoffman Estates, Illinois, at the Now Arena. But might as well just talk about that, since that's what everybody's talking about. They're not actually talking about All Out, which is the unfortunate thing about this entire weekend. But let's start with All Out.
Let's start.
Ben, what did you think of the show?
I would say on a 10 scale, I'm going to give it I'm going to go between a 6.8 and a 7.1. Actually, I felt I was entertained. I was sports entertained on top of which.
Right.
There were a few matches that I felt, fell a little flat and kind of brought the show down a little bit. But that at the same time, there were a lot of matches that were great. Maybe had some questionable endings. There's two in particular that I'm thinking of that we'll get into once we kind of go one by one through the matches. So I don't want to get spoiled that aspect of things.
Right.
But no, I think overall it was a solid show. But in comparison to All Out last year, I mean, that was like a 9.7 out of 10. So very hard to top, from a pay-per-view perspective. But I still go back to Double or Nothing in Vegas. And I actually liked All Out a little bit more than I liked Double or Nothing this year.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice. OT, your thoughts on the show. Did you watch it?
Yes. I watched it live. Actually, the second time I paid for an AEW pay-per-view, it was worth it. Very interesting show. There was some certain things that kind of were weird for me. Like Ben said, when we go through the matches, we'll go over that. But I will say on a 10 scale, it was about a 7.5. I will say this year's main event was better than Christian Cage versus Moxley last year.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
So I gotta go with the main event this year as opposed to last year's All Out.
Yeah. Yep. Jose?
I'm not gonna lie. I fell asleep during the main event.
Oh no!
I can't blame you.
It's just, I gave it a lower score, and then I raised the score a little bit because I caught the replay. So I give it a 7.5. I think it was a great show. I just think the length is horrible.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And the reason I kind of raised that score up a little bit is kind of the aftermath of like what we learned a little bit after that impacted certain matches. I was like, all right, that kind of makes sense. So I'll give it a little bit higher. But overall, I feel like I got my money's worth.
Yeah. Yep. I when you say the aftermath, I have a feeling you're specifically talking about Jungle Boy versus Christian. Because we found out after the match that Christian's shoulder is completely jacked and he shouldn't even been out there in the first place.
Yeah.
I think we found that out today.
Yeah, I heard it on Sunday or Monday.
He was in the building, Jose. So
we didn't know that.
I mean, he not only was in the building, he still got a 3 count on Jungle Boy. So it's like, injury be damned, the man still came out and was victorious.
Right. But yeah, we were all surprised watching that match. Just like, what the, because that storyline had the most buildup going into the pay-per-view, and then it was literally a 20-second match.
Yeah.
And we're like, what the hell are they thinking? But going back to my rating, I'm giving it a 5.
Wow.
Whoa.
And that's after giving it 10 points because I was with Ben and Angie the entire time. It was just far too long. Far too many matches. Tony Khan has got a personnel problem, a roster issue that he needs to figure out, and he needs to figure it out really quick. I have a feeling he's like trying to make everybody happy, but making nobody happy at the same time. Because like Jade Cargill, she's the biggest draw on the women's side that they have, and they gave her all of 4 minutes to showcase her talent.
Yeah.
Well, to come to Tony's defense, she still is green as hell.
Literally,
and she literally was green for All Out.
But
yes.
I mean,
she is, but she's a hell of an athlete, and they could make a match around her just pure athleticism, right? Especially on a pay-per-view.
Well, the other thing is, like, I think her opponent is not a newcomer. You know,
right?
I followed her indie career. She's a damn good wrestler. So even with Jade being that green, there was still a lot that could have been done.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think of like between Impact, between Independent, between WWE, between NXT, has there ever been a moment that we can think of when Athena / Ember Moon ever really sold or was like an enhancement talent for anybody who was maybe better talent-wise, or at least was trying to get that extra push besides maybe Shayna Baszler?
No.
And that was at the NXT level.
And roster run, with Shayna was probably.
Yeah. But that's all I can think of, because it's like any other match, whether it was with Asuka or anything at the WWE main roster level, it's just like I can't think of any time where Athena / Ember Moon actually really pushed anybody into the next realm. I always felt like she was just kind of doing better to herself. And it's not to say that she was doing it on purpose. I just don't think she had and it's also not to say she had the right mentality. I just think that she was just kind of playing by the pace, by the rhythm, whatever the moves that that her and her opponent kind of drew out. I don't think there was really anything to like take it to the next level as far as like an absolutely stunning or amazing match.
All right. I mean, I don't know. I don't think we can go through the entire show, because literally there are 183 matches. That would take us all night long.
Now,
so let's just do this.
15 matches.
15 matches. And the crazy thing is like on the I don't even know what they call it, the lead-in show, the preview show.
That was good.
0 hour, whatever. Yeah. There, Uh-oh, we lost Ben. He'll be back. There were 3 championship matches. 3 championship matches on the lead-in show.
Yeah.
Our AEW has a championship belt problem as well as a roster problem. Like,
what? Oh yeah, you're right. Hook and Pac. Yeah, you're right.
yeah, because you got the FTW, AEW All Atlantic. You had the AAA Mixed Tag Team Championship.
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot about
that. But then, like, all the other matches, you have Wardlow and FTR, who combined have like 146 belts. But they were in a trios match where none of the belts were actually on the line.
Yeah.
He needs to do something with all of these belts that are floating around in AEW. Like, I don't even know who has what belt or what they're wrestling for or why. He needs to figure out what he's doing with Ring of Honor, for sure.
Yes.
And then
quickly.
give AAA and I don't know what other Impact. I think there's an Impact belt in there somewhere.
Yep.
Give those back.
I'm done with all that.
Yeah, give those back. Split ROH and AEW. Give Rampage to fucking ROH. Rampage is a waste of a goddamn hour anyway, because you have Jay Cargill come out there and smash a woman. You have Wardlow powerbomb somebody 15 times, and then some other squash match. So, like, give Ring of Honor an hour a week. Keep Dynamite for AEW. Shorten the matches a little bit, and let's clean up some of these belts.
So less belts, less people on the roster, 1 hour less of a show. I like all.
Yeah.
I mean, you could even. I mean, Tony's got the money, and I'm sure TBS and TNT and whatever other Turner, True TV, they would gladly pay for another hour or 2 of AEW programming. So move Dynamite to 2 nights a week, and give ROH 2 hours a week. Like, do something. What?
Oh
no. Okay, break. Put it on True TV. Where
I would be content with Ring of Honor having 1 hour a week.
1 hour.
Yeah. But like, just this constant switching, and like, that's the one thing I hate about WWE, but they do get it right, is the 2 brand thing. Like, I hate that they have their roster split, but they do manage it correctly. And like, I wish AEW would actually do that, because their roster is too big.
Yeah.
They got too many belts going on.
And we're not even talking about Elevation.
No.
Oh, or Dark. Like, does anybody watch those?
Here's the issue. The issue with, I think, I actually like Rampage, first of all. But I think the issue is having it a Friday after SmackDown. It's like, I already got 2 good hours of wrestling. I do not need to switch a channel to go to a third.
Right.
Well, let alone, I mean, most of the time it's not actually live. It's taped after Dynamite. So if somebody wanted to, they could spoil the results, and you don't even have to watch it. So it's just like, it is an inferior product in that regard.
It is. It's secondary, and like, let's not treat it that way.
Yeah. I mean, in regard to the TNT champion, I mean, I'm not saying because of Wardlow. I'm just talking about the title itself. Like, I do like that aspect of it, much in the same sense I like the TBS championship for the women. But even in which case, the fact that if that is not being contested or challenged every single week, then we've got a problem here.
Right.
Especially with the legitimate contender. I think that's the bigger aspect of it. That both the equal show needs.
Dragon brings up a great point. Put it on Thursday. There's no wrestling on Thursday.
That's true.
Whoa. Time out.
Well, besides views from the top rope.
Yes, but also, I did not just spend $35, $55 a month to finally get Sling TV and watch Impact Live. All right.
Oh, Impact is on Sling TV?
They're back on Sling.
On Thursday?
Okay.
They're back on Sling live too.
On Thursdays.
On Thursdays. 8 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Good for them.
So if anybody does not know, Sling TV, you can watch it. And after that, they'll do New Japan for an hour, and then more.
Really?
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right.
Well, I might have to change my cable provider.
You know,
So
and
Jose, is the New Japan programming, is that like old stuff that they're just replaying? Okay.
Yeah. But it's weird because they'll advertise it on Impact. It'll be like, oh yeah, in the next hour you're gonna see blah 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 blah, and I'm like, all right, that's
that's
interesting.
That's getting very confusing to me.
Yeah.
Like
Ring of Honor, Impact, New Japan, like GCW. What's the other one? It starts with an M.
MLW.
Yeah, Major
League Wrestling. Yeah.
Like Moxley has like 16 championship belts right now.
He does.
Yeah, and like
15 now. He lost the championship.
He what?
15 now.
Oh yeah. He lost the AEW one, which we need to talk about. But yeah, it's just getting very confusing, very, very muddled. I think they need to go back and clean it up. But all right, getting back to All Out. Instead of going through every single match, why don't we each give our least favorite match and our favorite match of the night? OT, let's start with you.
Can we count 0 Hour?
Yeah, that was all part of the show.
A tie for me between the trios match for the trios championships and Eddie Kingston and Tomohiro Ishii.
Wow.
Okay, so that was your favorite. I'm assuming.
Yeah. And then
sorry. I thought you were going least favorite. Like, what the hell?
Right.
My
least favorite. Probably the ladder match.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I almost agree with you on the ladder match. The wrestling was fantastic, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Until Retribution came out.
Retribution.
Right. And just basically just squashed the entire thing. Like we had some fantastic moves going on in that ladder match. We saw Ray Phoenix jump from the top rope onto a table onto Roosh.
Yep.
We saw some like, I don't even know what the move is called, Canadian flip or whatever.
Oh, the Destroyer?
Yeah, the Destroyer on a ladder that was suspended between the ring and the railing. And then we'll just end it and give it to somebody that wasn't even participating in the match in the first place. Like I was talking to Ben, like at the show, I'm like, going into that, how do you perform knowing that your performance is just an afterthought? And so props to all those guys that were in that match. But
well, I'll tell you what, it really helps that half the competitors were Mexican, because I don't know if you've seen any of the Lucha Libre style stuff, but that's essentially what it is.
Yeah. Yep. And I will tell you, like, even going back to Dynamite, the Lucha Bros are the best in-ring performers they have on that roster.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say every single time they're out there, whether they're getting their ass kicked or whether they're winning, 100%, 120%, 141 and 2/3% every night.
Every night. They're so fun to watch. OT's back. All right, let's add him back in.
There he is.
All right. So excellent choices, OT.
No, and I think the additional thing on top of that, as far as being a performer going out there and busting your ass knowing you're going to lose, I think it really just goes to show their value, because of the fact that if like, even though they are being second fiddle to what the end result of what this match is going to be, them displaying their value is going to book them in more matches, because people obviously want to see them. And as far as like workability with other wrestlers that they may be trying to enhance as well. Oh yeah. I mean, Lucha Bros, we're going to throw you in there because we know you're going to make these guys look like fucking stars.
Right. And it's not even, they went in there knowing they were going to lose. They went in there knowing they weren't going to have any impact on the outcome of the match whatsoever.
Damn.
And I would say it actually probably made it easier for everybody, because then it's just like, all right, it's one less dude we got to worry about coming in and actually pulling some moves on. So let's focus on the storytelling that's going on in the ring right now with everybody who's just kind of trickling in.
All right.
You really got to love your job to take those bumps on those ladders and be okay with that. And, you know, and you really got to love your job. Like, props to them. They're showmen real.
Yeah. If you also think about it, right, the one who took the nastiest bump, in my opinion, was Andrade, right, with the Canadian Destroyer on the ladder. But he comes from a wrestling family, so he in Mexico, like he was seeing people doing that for chump change. So right now, considering he's got a guaranteed contract for it, God knows how much, because he's got one. He's like, yeah, I'll take it. Sure, it's fine. If I'm going to take it, I'm going to take it from Penta, who is a deathmatch expert who knows how to do these things safely.
Yeah, Penta, he's quietly becoming one of my favorite performers.
Wow.
Yeah, I hate his whole little gimmick thing.
I love it.
What?
I love it.
Get
That's
out of
madness.
Here. That's I know it's madness. I'm talking crazy talk, hot takes on top rope, but like his actual in-ring performances, man, flawless. Anyway,
yeah.
Jose.
All right. Least favorite. It's going to be a tie between the very first match on 0 Hour, the AAA mixed tag team, and the sloppiness of that. And just because I didn't really like it, Danielson and Jericho. Least favorite. Favorite by far. Swerve in Our Glory versus the Acclaimed.
Yep.
Yes.
That was a fantastic match.
Yep.
The wrestling was great. The crowd was even better.
I'll tell you what, I'm excited for Grand Slam because I will be there.
Awesome.
And I'm excited to feel that energy for that tag team.
We all know who's going to win that match.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they didn't sell out to the crowd and change the outcome in the middle of the match. That's not fair to Swerve and Keith Lee going into it. But it was a fantastic match. Props to all four guys.
Is going to be an amazing heel in AEW.
Yes.
Oh yes, he is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, especially when him and Keith Lee break up. Swerve's going to be really good for sure. He was wasted talent over at WWE, so I'm glad he's over at a promotion that knows how to use him. Ben.
My least favorite, and it's not because it's women. It was just because of the execution of the match. But the 4-way women's title match, it just left such a bad taste in my mouth. And it's not their fault. I mean, it had to do with the fact that it was the match that followed Swerve in Our Glory and the Acclaimed.
Right.
And so when the 3 count for Tony Storm was happening, that place was dead silent.
Yes. Well,
nobody cared.
I mean, that's also got a lot to do. We were already 4.5 hours into wrestling.
Yes.
And we still had 4 matches to go after that. Everyone was tired.
Yeah.
I
will say,
if
Jamie Hayter, because at least they started the breakup between her and Britt Baker, which we all wanted.
Yes.
But then again, I think we all thought that, like, okay, Jamie Hayter is actually legitimately going to win this title.
Yes.
I feel like that would have ended, at least in everybody's minds, a little bit better. I know it would have for me, and not just because I had picked her in our pick'ems pool, but just because I felt like the direction things were going, the heat between her and oh my God, who lost the belt, or who
Rosa.
Thank you, Thunder Rosa.
Yeah.
I think the heat between the two of them, which basically caused this entire 4-person battle, basically. I feel would have been better. I mean, not to have Tony Storm, the friend of Thunder Rosa, winning the title after all. It's just like, that's kind of boring. So I'll kind of leave it at that. And of course, my favorite match was the one that was said right below me, the Acclaimed and Swerve in Our Glory. That was probably the one match, of anything, where it's just like I actually stood up, was overwhelmingly excited, and of course the sheer disappointment when Swerve and Our Glory actually got the 3 count, and it's just like, oh my god. But the fact that the audible was called additionally to go to Grand Slam and do it again,
yes,
in
this was supposed
the
to be
Acclaimed's backyard this time,
yes,
it's just like, all right, I actually like this move now.
Yeah, because this was actually supposed to be it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad that they're doing the right thing, and well, hopefully they give them the belts. I guess I don't know what they're going to do. That would be the smart thing to do, but no.
But it's a very short title run for Swerve and Keith Lee.
Right, but
if that ends up being what actually happens.
Right, but they've been kind of building up to this for the last few weeks anyway, where there's been miscommunication between Swerve and Keith Lee and in-match communication, and so something will happen and they'll break them up and they'll go singles again. So it's not going to be that big of a deal.
Yeah, but I look at it in the regard to look at what Kenny Omega and Hangman Page did with the tag titles, and their whole storyline was miscommunication. And so it's just like to basically do it again, but with 2 different guys who have all the talent in the world, like no, undoubtedly. And it's just like, no, let's just give them a shorter run. Like I'm not a big fan of that. I feel like they deserve a little bit better, but at the same time, the amount of praise and love that the Acclaimed have, you got to strike while the iron's hot. So
and the merch, right? The merch,
yeah,
the merch. Which that was one of the biggest disappointments of All Out.
Yes.
The merch was terrible.
The merch table?
Yeah. Basically all they had were All Out t-shirts. They didn't have hardly any wrestling wrestler shirts. That was it. I mean,
yeah, they had Mox and CM Punk shirt, and then everything else was just straight AEW All Out stuff.
Yep.
Lackluster.
Yep. And it was all sold out like in the first 2 hours.
Yep.
Wait. Were you guys a part of a dark recording, taping?
No. They didn't do any dark.
Thank God.
No, yeah. Yeah. Between 0 hour and the show, I mean, we were at 5 hours.
Oh yeah, Grand Slam tends to go about that length too.
Yeah. So going back, let's see.
I'll say what you got, Jason.
Yeah.
For my favorite match, I'm looking back through the list. I hate to say Swerve. So I'm trying to pick something else. And it's hard. I'll go with the Trios Championship. That was actually a really, really decent match. Lots of good wrestling there. But my least favorite match, and it's not even really that close, was the other Trios match. Wardlow and FTR versus the Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns.
Yeah.
Not that the wrestling was bad. It was good. I mean, FTR and Wardlow, they're all 6 of those guys are professionals. I didn't need it. Like, it advanced 0 stories. We brought Impact in for this Forbidden Door garbage again, which we don't need. And both FTR and Wardlow, like I said before, have a shit ton of gold hanging off of them. You're at your signature pay-per-view and they're not wrestling for any of it. Like,
nope.
What's the point? Like, I don't know. They're wasting Wardlow. And why FTR doesn't have the AEW championship tag team belts, but like 18 other organizations. I don't know. It was just a wasted match. I mean, it was a great match to watch. It was just like pointless. Like quite a few of the matches on this card. Like, at your signature pay-per-view, you should be wrapping up stories or kicking off new ones, and some of these matches didn't either.
I was going to say, speaking of wrapping up stories, the other trios match between Sting, Darby Allin, and Miro versus House of Black, and now the fact that it looks like House of Black is done for good because Malachi Black got the curtain call at the end of the night.
He did, and we did see this week he's gotten a conditional release from the company. which we don't have the details of yet, but it sounds like he's taking an extended leave.
Yeah.
If not all the way out the door.
Yeah.
So House of Black, yeah, I don't know. Without Malachi Black, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I don't know what they're going to do there.
Just the house.
It's just the house. Just the house. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Brody King and I keep wanting to call him Buddy Murphy just from his WWE days. I think they got something together, but it's going to take a little bit of work.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Julie because she really started to develop her character.
Yeah, maybe they'll find somebody else to take that spot. Who knows? It can't be as good, but thank you, Andy. Scissor me, daddy.
They could add some kind of pin eater to that crew, Fuego del Sol or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Turn him heel. I don't know.
Turn Griff Garrison heel and let him be the leader of House of Black.
I'd rather see a Darby be a heel.
Yeah. It could be a good turn for him.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Oh, Sting. Well, Darby is the only one that didn't get spit in the eye.
That's true.
Maybe Sting.
Sting's done, man. He can still move though.
He can move.
For like 75 years old.
I mean, if I was getting that paper, I would move too.
That's true. But so All Out was mixed reviews. But the All Out media scrum, I think got more play than the actual pay-per-view, because come Monday morning, none of us were talking about All Out. None of us were talking about the GCW event that happened the night before. None of us were talking about Clash at the Castle.
Nope.
None of us were talking about NXT. We were all talking about Mr. Phil Brooks.
Phil.
And his decision to go, well, essentially he was accusing of everybody else of playing for themselves, and he went and did it himself. I initially thought it was a work, but after Dynamite and some of the news that's come out, it definitely was not a work. He's just an asshole. Is essentially what it comes down to. We should have known that from his WWE days. But as soon as you strap some gold on that motherfucker, he thinks he's bigger than the company he's in.
His original name says it all. Chick Magnet Punk.
Yeah.
Sure. For somebody that claims that straight edge lifestyle, he sure doesn't act like it when it comes to his working situation.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm not straight edge, but I don't eat as many cakes as that mother effer does.
Dude, that was insane.
That was so weird.
It was. I know he needs calories, but
pastry.
He was down in that shit. I mean, shout out to, was it Mindy's Bakery in Chicago?
I'm sure it's good. good.
She had a good Monday, I'm sure. But well, no, she's not open Monday and Tuesday. He did say that. Jose, I know you're stuffing your face with some Mindy's pastries, but what do you got?
I'll tell you what. I was asleep for the main event. I was wide awake for that ending of that call. Some of the things did not make sense.
Right.
And it's simply because, you bring in a guy who you basically paid a lot of money for him to have it his way, right? Make it in his hometown. Not part of the original crew.
Right.
And then you come in and he takes offense to promos out of all things.
Yeah, and it was like a very obscure promo from like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And the worst part is, he gets a bunch of people into some pretty hefty suspensions from what it sounds like, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets injured on top of that. That's the other thing, right? It's like, how do you get injured during the match? And I wonder if because he knew he was injured, he was just going to be out for a while. So he was like, "Let me leave out with a bang."
Yeah. That's
Comes
where
out,
my head was at. It's just
he-
he's
he's
got
gotta-
nothing left to lose at this point because he's going to lose the belt again.
Right.
Even if he comes back, they're not going to do it a third time. So it's just like, let me just go scorched earth, get all my grievances out, and then either, yep, Tony's going to buy my contract out, or
Yeah,
whatever.
because he's got about a year left, right? From what I understand on his
Yeah.
contract. And he's, from all reports, he's got either a torn triceps or a torn pec.
Yeah.
So he's out at least 8 months.
Same as Christian though.
Same as, I thought Christian's was a shoulder thing.
It sounds like they're very similar.
Okay. But yeah, Kevin, good. Thank you. He says no one knew Hangman was even hinting at Cabana.
Correct.
Right.
And that was a promo that from what I could read, he was basically forced into saying to create heat between him and Punk. And so for Punk to just like lash out on him, it's just like Hangman's probably like the best dude, like overall, just as far as humble and probably just like good-hearted more than anybody else in that company. And it's just like, really? You're gonna come at Hangman? Like, I don't really understand this maneuver here.
He's a school teacher.
Exactly.
Hangman is?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a journalism teacher.
He was a school teacher.
Yeah.
Teacher, yeah, it's crazy.
So that definitely didn't make sense. The whole call, if you were watching, the whole call made absolutely no sense.
No.
I will give all the props to Jericho at the end because, you know, for all the things that he does and all of his character, he is one hell of a leader in terms of like a public image.
Yes.
But yeah, and then so that promo that Punk actually did where he called out Paige like 2 months ago.
Yep.
Comes to find out Paige wasn't even in the building.
He was not.
And so Punk knew that. He calls him out, calls him down to the ring to just basically embarrass him.
Yep.
And then, okay, thought that was all over then. Cool. Let's move on. You're going against Mox and whatnot. And then just to blow it all up all over again. And Ben texted me, you got to watch, because I went to bed like right after the show and got up early the next morning to drive home. And on my drive home, Ben's like, you got to watch the pressers from last night. So I did, kind of another corner of my eye while I was driving. And all I could see is Tony Khan's face. Like he was a deer in fucking headlights.
He was just
he had no idea what was going on. He had no idea what he should be doing. He was completely lost. His face, I was just laughing at his face the entire time. It's just like he's not quite ready to manage that level of talent. He needs somebody underneath him that understands wrestlers and understands wrestlers that get paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
And how to handle them. Because he wants to be everybody's friend and not everybody's boss. And hopefully he makes the right move here, gets rid of this guy.
Yeah.
And then can patch everything back up and clean up this roster a little bit.
And probably get rid of Ace Steel as well if they haven't
I
already.
thought that's what we were talking about, right?
No. Ace Steel's gone. That's almost been confirmed. Well, I mean, he literally bit somebody.
I mean, so did Mike Tyson.
Yeah, and Mike Tyson was gone. Like,
it should have been Larry fighting somebody, not Ace Steel.
What's that?
That should have been the dog Larry biting somebody.
Right.
Steel.
And from the reports I read, Kenny Omega was only in there to protect Larry the dog.
Correct.
Right. And so Ace bites him and like.
I have so many questions. Why was Michael Nakazawa and Brandon Cutler there? Like,
Michael Nakazawa is a ride or die. That's why.
But that's what makes it feel like a fight, though. Like you brought your whole team with you.
Right.
Cutler was shooting for the vlog.
Yeah, I was gonna say Cutler probably just had a camera with him.
Good point.
Because
I think it's hilarious that Cutler gets suspended for taking a punch.
Yeah, poor guy.
Or Daniels.
Chris Daniels got suspended too.
I think he was just walking through the hallway. and just happened to be there, right? Like
the man is literally the fallen angel. How could he do that?
Looking for the bathroom, took the wrong turn.
Right. Yep. And
well, he's talent relation, so maybe because he wasn't able to control the talent, that was probably a part of it. I mean, the man is profusely bleeding out of his eye to this day, so it's just like we gotta cut him some slack.
I know. I just think that Khan is still romanticized with the figure of Punk, so he kind of sees him as like he can't do any wrong, and when he does, he doesn't know how to handle that.
Right.
And I think that's why Jericho is very important, because even in the promo that he cut on Wednesday, that is his locker room, because he's been in these positions before.
Speaking of Wednesday, so we fast forward to Wednesday, which had to have been one of the biggest rated dynamites of all time, which is still why I thought it was a work up until right before the show on Wednesday, right? Because I'm like, they're coming up at the end of their TV contract. They're going to be signing a new one in like 3 months. I thought, what better way to increase ratings than go full WCW, and expose this turmoil of the locker room to the world. Turns out it's actual turmoil. But I got to give props and my level of respect for what a professional this gentleman has gone completely through the roof for Jon Moxley. This guy gave up the belt to Punk, took the hit, gave him the push, and then had it just basically spit back in his face Sunday night after Punk basically wiped his ass with Mox and his bump. And then he still comes out there
on his day off.
On his day off. They flew him into where were they? Boston? I don't know. Buffalo. Yeah, of all places to fucking go, Buffalo, New York.
Yeah.
And he gives this fucking speech that man, Mox is a consummate professional. I'm glad he finally got the help that he did a few years ago for his drinking issues. But man, dude, my respect for him as a professional is through the roof right now.
He sets the tone, man. He's pretty much the shining example of what CM Punk should have been.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely.
And especially based on the talk that CM Punk gave as he was coming in, out of his long hiatus, and it's just like, all right, cool. This is a different CM Punk. This is the born again, still kind of a bad boy, but what up?
Well, him and Drew McIntyre, right?
Yes,
they literally carried the companies through the COVID period and the arena shows. So for me, that's when I gained even more respect for their title runs and just their ability to create something out of nothing. And that promo on Wednesday, that one is going to be studied for a very long time.
Mm-hmm. Don't even get me started on Drew McIntyre not being able to win the belt on his own fucking island. What are they even thinking about over there? Because Vince McMahon gave Roman Reigns a promise on his way out the door. What the fuck is that bullshit? But anyway, we're not even talking WWE. What?
Was it really a promise way out the door? I didn't hear about that.
Yeah. So apparently, so Vince and Triple H promised Roman Reigns he'd hold on to the belts until at least WrestleMania 39, regardless of what happened to Vince. I don't know why, but that's what they did. But anyway, so they suspend Punk. They suspend the Bucks, the EVPs. I don't think that suspension is going to last very long, but they did take the belts away from them. So that was a pretty good match to crown the new trios champ, and then they come out with this tournament, which I think they fucked up with this tournament. Why is Wardlow not in this tournament?
Correct.
Why? There's a few other guys that probably should have been in this tournament, but yet we give buys to Jericho and Moxley. And now we're going to get Jericho and Danielson Again.
But why is Sammy there?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm baffled by that one.
Because he's the longest or the 3-time TNT champion.
Yeah, so it's the champions tournament, you know.
I'm sure if Scorpio Sky wasn't hurt, it would be him over Sammy.
I would hope so. I would hope, or Jay Lethal.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised that they didn't go that route.
Yeah, basically anybody but Darby Allin and because you know whoever's coming out of that's not going to beat Moxley.
Correct.
Yeah.
But the match between Darby and Sammy is probably going to be pretty good just based on their rivalry from the past.
Right.
But it's still going backwards.
Right. It is. I could think of a dozen other guys that could put in there, but it will be a great match. And it is on Rampage, so they need something to pump up that show.
I guess.
Rampage is live this week, too.
Is it?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, they have. I mean, because of what they did, they have to do it live this week.
Right.
It's going to be live until I think for a few weeks. I think they said the next few weeks going to be live.
Probably until after Grand Slam.
See, this is a weird situation where if Malachi Black didn't leave, you substitute him in for Sammy Guevara, and it might actually be a decent set. I mean, I still hate the Bryan Danielson Jericho in the next round.
Yeah.
But I feel like Darby versus Malachi for that first round to then fight Moxley, it's like that would have been a fucking banger, especially coming off of what happened at All Out. It's just like, all right, you're going to get your revenge against one another. Or I'll throw another name in there, fucking Miro.
Yeah.
Oof.
That was the one. They're not utilizing Miro right now. You know,
and I feel awful for him. Unless they're just waiting for Lana to get out of her WWE contract.
But
she's hinted at it.
Good.
She's not on any of their shows either. So like,
no, I was gonna say as soon as Miro got to AEW, they just stopped using her. They just sent her home and just been paying her.
Yeah.
But the fact that he keeps referring to her in all of his promos, or at least up until like the last 2 weeks, I feel like that's the next step. It's like once she's there, if that is a thing that's going to happen, then it's like they're going to push his star, hopefully, to space.
Yep.
Because I'd be pissed if they didn't.
I think we'd all be.
Yeah.
Then the winner of that at Grand Slam will obviously go against MJF, which MJF. I don't know where the hell he was, whether that was a work, whether that was actual contract negotiations, whatever. But fuck, that dude is a master on the mic. Like,
he is. But his promo this week was weird.
It was weird. Like,
he had to tone it down.
Right. So Sunday at All Out, when he took off the mask, he got one of the biggest pops of the night.
Yep.
And we were talking about it after the show with a bunch of hardcore wrestling fans, and they're like, make him a babyface. Like, right now is the time to do that. And so when Wednesday he comes out in the Buffalo Bills jersey and he's talking all that stuff, I'm like, man, he's fucking going all in on this. And then nope. Just a big double bird right to the Buffalo. And I thought it was great. It was definitely very weird.
Yeah.
And especially the whole stripping down, let's go, and then just running away. That was very, very weird. But
to me, that wasn't the weird part. The weird part was shouting out WWE, saying Triple H is his favorite wrestler. It's like, bro, like, look at where you work. Like, read the room. Read the room.
No, I think I think that
works for him.
I think it's just really cementing in that he is a heel. He is the asshole. He's the one that everybody should be hating. So what's the biggest way to do that? Bring up the other company. Bring up that you're going to jump. Bring up that you're going to take the belt with you.
He had us in the palm of his hand as a babyface. He had us.
I know.
He had us.
But Khan doesn't want him to be a face.
I understand.
I think there's no need for him to be a face. I think pairing him back with Stokely, marvelous move.
Mm-hmm.
Their stuff in CZW, great. You know, that the dirty indies, great.
Yeah.
But I think also the way that he works in the other company into his promos, we've seen it before in a smaller scale, right? With a bunch of back when, you know, ECW was essentially financed by the WWE and it was kind of hidden, but there were definitely talks within promos of going to the next level. I think Khan kind of likes that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I think it also makes sense that he would be the one to bring up WWE, considering, and he referenced Cody Rhodes as well, his protege or his mentor, because Cody Rhodes was the guy who was like really trying to rub it in WWE's face, going back to the first Double or Nothing, with the sledgehammer on the chair. So I'm not going to put it past MJF because, as we found with a series of tweets and promos from the past, especially, you know, the tweet before he got his suspension, or before, not to say suspension, before he just went missing, MIA, and, you know, the devil promos and stuff that he was cutting, and then you go all this time link forward into All Out, and you incorporate the greatest trick the devil ever pulled promo from CM Punk from his Ring of Honor days. Like, MGF is so cerebral in regard to all these long-term storylines that I like it is in his wheelhouse. I wouldn't put him past this stuff. And it's amazing when he does it. But at the same time, I remember another person being as, you know, as knowledgeable about wrestling history and using it in their promos, and that was Velveteen Dream at NXT. And that dude ended up being a fucking weirdo. So I'm hoping this is not the same route for MJF.
I'm hoping he has internet access at his prison facility so he can watch this.
He got arrested last week.
Yeah.
Who did?
For Velveteen Dream.
For pulling
he finally got busted.
No, these were new charges. DUI.
A gym employee.
Yeah, hitting somebody, getting in a fight. Yeah. Brand new charges. Yep.
Yeah, it's not. He hasn't been on a high run.
No. China, Justin. All right. But anyway,
at the end of the day.
yeah, we're on the Hat channel. Yeah. So, I don't know. AEW is kind of in a mess. They're trying to clean it up. I hope Khan can, because there's some stories here. Some good wrestling here.
It's kind of been due for them, though.
Yeah, what's up, T?
What is CM Punk talking about? What is CM Punk talking about when he accuses Adam Page of not listening to older wrestlers? Like, he's been listening to Arn Anderson since he's been there, and I've heard the podcast. Arn talks about how Adam Page is asking for help. What is he talking about?
He was mostly talking about God, who is the Dean Malenko? Dean Malenko is like one of the head trainers or talent relations or something like there. And apparently there was an incident or something where Adam Page basically walked away from it. Like, so
I seen some kind of interview that Adam Page did months back where he was like doing an interview in like a small venue or something, and they asked him a question about, do you take, advice from people? And he was like, well, I'm a champion and I helped start this company, so I'll take advice when I feel like I need it, but I'm always listening, but I'm never really taking advice like that. Which
he was referencing, and Kevin brings it up too, is he did that interview where he doesn't learn from listen to vets because he learns from experience. So apparently I think Punk just has it out for Adam Page. So whatever it is, who knows? But yeah, we learned that Punk is a punk.
Yeah,
big time.
So hopefully Tony Khan does the right thing, and cleans that up. Because
who do you think they bring in? Because I was kind of making jokes about this going back to the Attitude Era with WWE, when Stone Cold first really started getting let loose, and they brought in Sergeant Slaughter to be the GM to kind of control everybody. And that ended poorly for Sergeant Slaughter immediately. So
and they got William Regal there.
That's true. But he's got his own stuff going on with everybody else in the Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah.
True. Shawn Michaels just signed a big new contract and got a promotion over at WWE. Well, I don't know.
You gotta have Regal put his foot down and be the guy backstage.
I mean, they still got Paul White and Mark Henry. I mean, those dudes can just beat the shit out of anybody if they wanted to.
Good.
Mark Henry. It's time. That's all he does. That's literally his job is to say that.
It works though. It works
on Rampage.
I love it. It's the best part of Rampage. I love it.
Hey, if Mark Henry is still getting paid, I'm happy for Mark Henry.
Unfortunately, you're right, OT Brim. That is the best part of Rampage.
Best part, the highlight.
But all right, we didn't even get around to WWE this episode because it's more of the same shit. Triple H has been.
Braun Strowman's back. Yay!
Braun Strowman's back. Johnny Gargano's back.
Don't do that, Jose. He's the best big man they have.
I'm just highly upset that CYN never took off.
Oh, come on.
What are they? You can't have a wrestling promotion with two wrestlers.
True.
What are you gonna do?
The only thing I'll say though, and this is for another episode, Sheamus should have won.
Yeah.
So should have Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
Wait. Sheamus should have won.
Sheamus should have won.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Gunther is it. He is it. He's legit. Sheamus can take a loss. He's been there a while. He's been IC champion before, right?
Oh, multiple times.
Yeah.
It's fine. He'll be all right.
That was the belt he needed to be. Yeah. He needed that belt to be
Grand champ.
I will say actually one thing I did like from Monday Night Raw, and this is going to be as we were doing the show previously, I will always give The Miz his flowers. And the fact that even in a U.S. title match, he made Bobby Lashley look fucking amazing.
Yep.
Props to The Miz.
The Miz is underrated.
Yeah. Dude, and that shot.
Yeah.
Where he's climbing over the ring. And they had the camera looking down and
Dex
is laying under the ring. I absolutely love The Miz.
It's my favorite.
Always loved The Miz. I don't know where this Dexter Lumis thing is going. It's that storyline's a little weird to me. But apparently he petted him and just like took him out of the ring and nobody said a thing. Like, okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know. No surprises at Clash at the Castle except for who didn't win.
Yeah.
I just
Bailey going full heel on Twitter after at the next day on the crowd there.
I didn't see that. Yeah.
I mean, it just had to do with the song that they always sing for her anytime she's in the UK, and she flung it back at him, basically just like, yeah, I only care about myself. Like, wow.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. And then,
big Cam energy from Bailey right there.
And then Dominic really going in his father's footsteps.
Going heel.
Fucking Dominic.
Wait, his father as an Eddie Guerrero?
Yeah. We're not. Yeah. He got the haircut. He's got the mullet. That is yes. 100%. He's got his China by his side. That's all we need.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Wow, Jose, you're connecting it for me. It's amazing.
This is what I think about.
Yeah.
In real. Wow.
Yeah.
Anybody who ever says wrestling is fake, you can just use that timeline as a reference. Like, no, it is not.
Long-term storytelling. That's what Khan is missing.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, he's only been around for 3 years, so.
And then once again, MJF seems to be the only guy who's like really piecing storylines together.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Adam Page, but then he won the belt and the storyline was over. But
yeah,
whatever.
Anyway, yeah, this was fun. I wanted to keep this right at an hour tonight, and we're right about there. So
Nailed it.
nailed it. Before we go, Solo Sikoa. I want to touch on that one second. Has Roman Reigns in these 2 years he's been champion had one clean pin?
No.
2 years of this fucking garbage. They had the perfect opportunity here. You're on Drew McIntyre's island. The bloodline is not there. And then they pull this shit.
Yep.
They pissed Jason off again.
They
See,
did.
and this is why it's like I'm from a distance, I'm gonna be viewing what's going on with WWE. But once we come around to January in the Royal Rumble, I will 100% be in it.
Yes, because if we get to May and Roman Reigns is still the goddamn champion, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah.
I want my money back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if it's Austin Theory as champion, what are your
I'm
thoughts?
going to be even more pissed. No, it'll be The Rock. It better be The Rock. You think I'm kidding?
Drew, The Rock or Drew, for sure.
I mean, The Rock could definitely have Sammy under his wing now that he's gone from the bloodline.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wait, Sammy got kicked out the bloodline?
Blood is thicker than water, from what I hear.
What?
We'll cover that next episode. But hey, guys, this has been fun.
Yeah.
We are definitely going to do this more often. I want to thank everybody that in the comments that's watched us idiots talk about sports entertainment for the last hour. If you can, before we get off of here, just give this video a like. It would be really appreciated. So we'll get bumped up the algorithm and maybe more people will join us next time. So OT Brims, thank you for using your lunch break to join us. Mexifitteds, I know you got school tomorrow, so get to bed. And Shaka, thank you so much, and thanks for hanging out with me on Sunday.
Absolutely.
In beautiful downtown Hoffman Estates.
Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah, and for all of us here at Views from the Top Rope, thank you, everybody, and we will see you in a couple weeks. Peace.
Right.